welcome to Hope Survival YouTube. We're back. I was able to lasso Brother Otis for a little more time, and we've been having some great conversations over the last few days on A to Z. And one of the things that we wanted to hit on was we were up in Kentucky at the Kentucky Preparedness and Gun Expo, I think it was,
in
back
Heinemann, Kentucky,
in March. And part of that conversation was we noticed, wow, how many of the instructors and vendors there were focused on medicinal plants, essential oils, home remedies, tinctures, juices.
Tinctures, juices, poultices. I mean,
Even we had the dinner.
tons of herbal stuff. Oh yeah, Miss Suzanne made that drink.
Yeah.
The elderberry, muscadine,
Yeah, it was awesome.
hydrangea. I mean, it was awesome.
So since then, Brother Otis here has been freeloading in half of the southeastern U.S. He's been going to
I've been trying to go to
all
as many.
these classes,
Yeah.
North Carolina, Kentucky,
Georgia.
different weekend events for preparedness and so forth. So I wanted him to talk to you about what he found, but how he's applying it.
I've been going to expos and conventions for a very long time, and never have I seen the availability and this many people who are teaching herbal and homeopathic medicine at these events. I mean, it's just everyone I went to this year, there was at least 3 to 5 vendors who were doing classes on it, who were talking about it, who were promoting it, and very excellent teachers. I mean, some of the best classes I have ever attended. And we took, my wife and I, we go to a lot of these together. Now the one in Kentucky and the one in Georgia, I went solo, but then she went with me to one in North Carolina. And we split up our events so that we can hit as many as possible. And we went to, between the 3 shows, I bet we have hit 15 to 16 different classes on herbal medicine, tinctures, poultices, salves, how to grow the stuff, everything you can think of. So we've been applying it into some of our own health. We feel that the good Lord is leading us to use more of the homeopathic medicines that He placed on earth instead of big pharma, and it's helping in our life already. One of the big ones that we learned about was a tincture called Self-Heal, and that is the name of the herb. It's called Self-Heal, and you can grow it, you can buy it. So we bought some that was already made tincture, but then we also bought the herbs, and we even got some seeds, and we're trying to grow it in some pots, but that's going to take a minute. But we already have started making our first tincture, and you have to get your 100 proof alcohol. We used 100 proof vodka. We got the mixture ratios correct. We printed the recipes. We're making a book of recipes for tinctures, a book for poultices. That way it's all in print, in writing. We have some digital, but I don't trust it. So I like hard copy books I can put my hands on.
I like the way he thinks.
So we have it in a room right now where we're making it. It takes a minimum 6 to 8 weeks to make it. So we went ahead and bought some to try. And I did it. You can take up to 4 doses a day. I think it was 1 dropper bottle full 4 times a day. I didn't do that much at one time because I wasn't actually physically ill. I've got some chronic ailments, but it said it would help those as well. So I was doing 1 dose in the morning, 1 dose at night. I did that for 6 weeks, and I could tell a dramatic change in my health. It made a big difference. Now, it's a very, very heavy detox, so you had some detox pains from that for the first couple weeks, but I got through that. Then the second tincture that I learned about, and all three of the expos that I went to, these were all different instructors, talked about pine pollen and how it was really, really good for you. It would help with your allergies. It would help raise, testosterone in males. You do it in females too. So I started taking it, and you can get it in two different forms. One of the classes, the lady taught us how to go get it ourselves from the pine trees, but you have a very limited window at what time you can collect that. At the time that we did it, it was past it in my area, so I had to buy it. And then you have to be careful how you store it because it can mold. So that's where a tincture comes into place, because once you mix it with the alcohol, you're not going to have that problem. As long as you keep it in a dark room, it will store for a very long time. So we're making pine pollen tincture as well. And I've been taking it, and I can tell a dramatic increase in testosterone. It's helping me recover from my workouts immensely faster, and it helped me with my allergies this year. I didn't hardly have any allergies at all during pollen season this spring. So I was very impressed with it. But you got to get your instructions. You got to learn the dosage for yourself, and you kind of cycle it 5 days on, 2 days off, so that it's more efficient and you don't build a tolerance. And then you got to sneak up on the dosage. I'm just going to tell you, you can take up to 10 grams a day. I can't personally do that. I can only take 3.5, or it gives me a very cleansing experience. I'm just saying. So sneak up on your dosage if you decide to take any. Start off with a gram and work your way up. And then we bought a bunch of our own seeds, and we got planters, like 18-inch planters, and we got them on our front porch. And we're trying to set up our own herbal resupply. The wife's really gotten into that. I bought a bunch of the seeds at the Hindman, Kentucky one, and then the Mountain Readiness show we went to in North Carolina. There was a guy, I can't remember his name, Jason. One of the vendors, Jason, I can't remember his last name, and he had a really good selection of heirloom herbal seeds. So between the two places, I was able to stock up a good bit. And we're growing them. I've been printing the sections on how to harvest them and save the seeds so that I can have a resupply. Even though most of them are perennials, you got to use so much of it to make your tinctures. So I want to have a resupply system. But we've been doing a lot with the herbal medicines. I believe that we're going to really need that in the coming future.
Agree.
And I mean, it's so much better for you than pharmaceutical medicine.
Yeah. Naturals.
So much better for you.
And that's how our body was built.
Exactly. The good Lord knew what he was doing.
Design. One of the things, you tell me if you agree or disagree. Opinion only. One of the things that I'm finding in the medicinal, natural arena is you can take time and experience is a player, right? I mean, for anything. You can take any 10 of these individuals who are either writing books, teaching classes that are into the medicinal arena, right? And they all may have their own niche or specialty within the medicinal where they're strong suited. And you can take 10 of them and line them up and take 10 straight classes, and you will learn something from each one that maybe one or none of the others covered. And sometimes as humans, we can be short and unfair in to say, well, this person didn't talk about any of that. It doesn't mean they don't know it, right? It is their opinion to, as an instructor providing a class, as to what they believe is the most important, right?
And something I found.
And it gets critical. And
Yeah.
And I really, I don't think that it should be. I think, you know.
Well, I took
my opinion.
multiple different classes from multiple different people, and one of the things I found that was common with everybody was the procedure on how you make the different tinctures, salves, poultices. They all had the same procedure as far as your ratio to this, to this, to this, which I think is pretty much a given across the board. Now, some of them had more interest in certain things, I think because that's how they got into it, because that's what applied to their health. So they would promote certain things more than others because it was something that was designed for their interest, you know, of the whole reason why they got into it. But they were all, the procedure was all the same across the board of how you made it. That was one thing the recipe basically was the same. And I was really curious about that. So they were all very consistent in that matter. But now they all, to me, seemed that they had different specialties, but it was related more to their life. And usually that's the same with anybody, you know, whatever your interest is.
An illness. Or
exactly. You know, an illness, trying to better whatever problem they had, they tried to look for that more. So everybody was a little different in that aspect. But as far as the consistency of the recipe, they were all the same. And I was really impressed with how the products performed. I cut my finger. What's today? Today's Friday. So it's been 1 week since I cut my finger. And what I did was I dropped a very large piece of granite on it, and it was a pressure cut, and it just split it. So I started putting tea tree oil on it that Saturday. It is healed.
Yeah.
You can see there's no more cut.
There's nothing there.
Yeah.
In a week.
The skin's missing.
Yeah.
But
It's
I mean, it split it good. It split it so hard, it took my fingernail and cut myself with my fingernail. That's how hard it pressed it in. And it's healed. And that's all I did was put tea tree oil on it twice a day, once in the morning, once at night, and it is healed. I mean, tea tree oil is so good for skin, period. Burns, cuts, abrasions, and you know, and that's just another essential oil that the good Lord blessed us with.
Yeah, we used to carry it in our in my former life. We used to carry it in our bags, especially if you had any kind of razor wire or barbed wire cuts like that. Whip it out, put some tea tree oil on it.
Yeah, tea tree oil is good stuff.
Yeah, yeah. Add some things to add. So of all these different events and expos, is there anything that was offered that you hadn't heard about yet that you've since added to your preparedness, medicinal preparedness package, or maybe you want to add anything different?
Oh yeah, there was tons of stuff I did not know, especially on the tinctures, the poultices, and some of the salves. So we really upped our game on how to make them and adding them to our kit. So what would probably be the most? I was really impressed with that self-heal and the fact that it one of the scenarios the instructor was using was there was a pastor at a church, and he had a really, really bad sinus infection. He couldn't get over it. And he asked if anybody, he had tried regular doctors, pharmaceuticals, over the counter, behind the counter, everything you could think of, and nothing would put a dent in it. So he asked his congregation one day, you know, does anybody have any help? And one of the ladies, you know, she was a herbalist. She said, look, you know, let's try this self-heal tincture. And I want to say it took him 6 weeks of using it. It cured the sinus infection, and it made his knees quit hurting. So I said, by golly, I get sinus infections all the time. I'm going to try that. And it did. It helped a lot with my chronic pain that I have, because I've had quite a few sports injuries. So I was really impressed with that. And that's one of the reasons why I've got 2-pint jars at the house mixing up right now, so I could add that to our preps, especially medicinal. You can never have enough medicinal preps. Because if you ever have to start using it, you go through it in a hurry.
But again, having it
and getting started with it now,
having it is, and not knowing you have it, or having it and not printing it out to know
not
how
knowing
to
how
use
to use it, what the dosage is.
That's a huge vulnerability in
Yeah.
the entire preparedness community across the board, whether it's medicinal, comm, security,
Yeah, you gotta use it.
preserving food. You know,
That's one of the things we're doing in my wife's office right now. Is we're setting up a bookshelf just for medicinal herbs.
library.
Yeah, and we're putting it all in print, and we're having a whole shelf just with recipes and dosages
Yeah.
in print.
What was it right before we started filming this? We were talking briefly on a preparedness, and you provided you made a comment as kind of an overall just generic assessment in the preparedness community, and I commented about watching movies and reading books. Do you remember what you said to me?
What did I say? We talked about a lot the last 3 days.
There seems to be a lot of people who think that they are preparing.
Oh,
You remember that?
yeah. There's a lot of people who think
It's an assessment. It's not a criticism.
no,
It's an assessment.
who talk about it, who attend classes, who think that just because they're getting to do some knowledge, that they're actually preparing, but they're not physically doing anything. If you don't get out and try it, if you don't do hands-on, if you buy equipment and leave it in a box, you don't even know if it worked. You don't even know if you got the right batteries for it, or if it's broken in the box. You have to apply yourself in all the training that you're doing, because it may not even be what fits your scenario for yourself.
It may not even work.
It may not even work. You got to get it out of the box and use it, because then number one, you'll know how to do it. Plus, you'll test your equipment and make sure it works, because there's plenty of stuff comes brand new in the box that don't work.
Well, yeah, I don't generally like to talk about this specific subject on video for reasons you can figure out, but it's kind of like when you talk to people about their security plan, and it's like, well, what kind of weapon do you have, or weapons do you own? And they'll tell you, it's like, well, what's the distance from here to your perimeter, or to the end of your street or your block, or what is your plan offensively and defensively? What do you own in the category of weapon?
What are you going to use for this? What are you
What's
going
your
to use for this?
maximum
Yeah.
effective range compared to
For different scenarios,
your distance that
for each
you
rock
have
chunker you got.
measured out? You know, you may be sitting here thinking, well, I've shot 100 rounds and the individual's still coming at me. Well, that could be because you're missing, but it also could be because your maximum effective range of that particular one
It's only half the distance that
is
they're
only,
at.
you know, it's the only way the philosophy of not knowing any of that and still being effective is to stand and shoot rocks and straight up in the air with a slingshot, right?
But
They're going to come down around you or hit you.
Yeah.
But
that theory
direction's-
is even larger than just rock throwers.
Oh yeah.
It's everything.
Yeah,
If your
absolutely.
wheelbarrow don't work, you can't move your dirt.
Yeah.
You know, if your tire won't hold air, you know, if your fuel's going flat, if your gasoline generator won't crank, you know, you have to constantly test your equipment. It helps if you take a 12-month calendar and you go ahead and pre-plan some of it out, so that you know, okay, on this
Yeah.
date when I flip it open, I got to do this week, you know, and it don't take long if you'll, you know, spread it out. It's all planning. You got to have pre-planning.
I can't remember who it was. I think it may have been our brother and sister over near Winston-Salem, maybe. I can't remember. But they messaged me and they were talking about this exact same thing. It was them. He messaged me and he was doing, we had met for lunch actually. He was telling me how he was doing a step involving his tractor, right? And it there was a step in there that he had always assumed. He would do that step and then go forward and complete the task. And what he found out was when he went to do that task, he didn't have the right tool to do the task. So he had to then go find
The correct tool.
the correct tool. Lesson learned in a situation where he could go find that tool. But when you can't.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you a humongous scenario. Last year, I got this bright idea to add weed fabric to my entire garden. My garden's pretty good size. The weed fabric worked great last year. When I went to replow it and plant it this year, I can't even get in there with my tractor now because of all the staples and the weed fabric. So I'm having to totally clean the whole garden back up. Can't even use it this year. In a bad scenario, that would have really, really hurt us because then our resupply for a whole year would have been down.
Yeah, only way you could really effectively do that is
By hand.
well, if you had rotating fields.
Yeah,
Right.
exactly. If I'd had
You
another
do.
alternate position
Yeah.
to put one, grow that one while I'm trying to get this one back where it's growable.
But now's the time to learn.
Yeah, that's why you got to do it. You got to
Right.
put your hands in the dirt or whatever the scenario is, get them greasy, whatever.
Yeah.
But you got to apply yourself.
Yeah. All right, we're going to lock this one down and call the end. Brother Otis,
Yes,
appreciate
sir.
it, man.
Always.
If we could only get everything we think and talk about while we're together onto a video, we could probably sell it for 10 cents.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Maybe 11.
11. Yeah. Hope you got something out of this. Honestly, this is some of the, when you're sitting around with like-minded people and just having these conversations, it's the best time for all of us to learn. You know, none of us can know everything, right? And our detached memory banks are all the other like-minded people, and knowing who you can reach out to that maybe told you something, or they specialize, or it's a strength, communications, the medical arena, and so forth. That you can tap into that. That you got to do it while you can communicate with them or close by, because when you can't, you're going to be a peanut butter sandwich without the peanut butter. So, but anyway, if you like, hit like. If you got any comments, please leave a comment down below. Subscribe if you're not a follower, and you can hit our website at hopeforsurvival.com. Email me at preparedness101@protonmail.com, and always remember how blessed we are, and most of all, don't forget to give thanks for all that we have been blessed to have.
Yeah, amen.
Brother Otis,
Yes,
appreciate
sir.
it, man.
Not a problem.
It's always good. Bravo Echo out.
Thank you for checking out the Hope for Survival YouTube channel. If you are new to Hope for Survival, you can check out our books at our webpage. Book 1, which is Hope for Survival, Getting You Prepared for Disasters, and Book 2, Hope for Survival, The Mindset, are both available for order on the website. We also offer the Hope for Survival football stick, which is a memory stick set up as a digital filing cabinet with files already loaded on there for you to digitally copy items such as deeds, auto transcript for ownership, wills, living wills, loans, banking information, items that if your home burned down or you had some form of a disaster, you could have all your important papers already digitally filed on this stick. All you do is simply drag the digital file into the appropriate preset folder so that you'll have it in the event of a disaster. You have to flee your home in a hurry, or also if you're away from home and you need critical information that's personal. If you have your memory stick with you, you can put it in your computer and pull that information up wherever you may be. Again, you can find these items to order at our website, https www.hopeforsurvival.com, or you can email me at preparedness101@protonmail.com, and I will try to help you out. Again, thanks for checking out the Hope for Survival YouTube channel. Hope to see you again.